Hi, Living Word parents, teachers. We're in a different spot tonight because it's gotten to be late before I got this chance to record this, and I'm looking for some light. But hopefully, this is good enough that you can understand what I'm saying for a little bit of time in the Word with your children this week. Our story for this week is downloaded below the teacher's guide, and it's called A Soldier Believes, and it's the story of the jailer in Philippi. It's the same Paul. Make sure the kids understand this. The same guy who changed his name last week to Paul, and he's doing what he said he was going to do. He's going out and looking for people that he can tell about Jesus and the good news that Jesus died for them so that they can be God's friends. And that's what he's doing. And he and his friend Silas go to the town of Philippi. And when they get there, they run into this young slave girl who is possessed by a demon. And so they cast the demon out of the girl. And that makes her very happy. But it makes her owners not so happy and very angry with Paul and Silas because they were making lots of money off this girl predicting the future. And now they couldn't do that because the demon was gone. So they had Paul and Silas thrown into jail. And while they were in jail that night, they were singing praises to God. And they didn't stop thinking about how they could praise the Lord. And so in the middle of the night, probably about midnight, they felt an earthquake and the walls shook. Their chains that were on them fell off. The doors flung open to the prison, and they could have gotten out. And the jailer, whose responsibility it was to make sure they stayed in there, them and all the prisoners, figured, oh man, I am toast because all the prisoners are going to have escaped and it's my fault. I might as well just kill myself because the authorities are going to kill me anyway. But Paul and Silas said, no, don't hurt yourself. We're here. We didn't go anywhere. We're here. And the jailer was amazed. And they said, all night long I heard you singing songs to your God and singing his praises. Could you tell me more about this God of yours? Was Paul ready for that? That's just what he was looking for. So he was delighted to tell the jailer all about Jesus and how Jesus had died for the jailer as well and wanted him to be his friend. So the jailer then, after he heard the good news, asked Paul and Silas to baptize him. Not only him, his whole family and all his servants and everybody in his household. Paul and Silas were happy to do that. And the jailer then received all the blessings of baptism. And that is our objective for the children this week. It's on the front page. We want to make sure that the children know that the same baptism that gave those wonderful powers to the jailer to become God's friend, that's our baptism too. And God gives us the power to become God's friends in our baptism. So make sure the children connect that to themselves. And as you tell the story of Paul and Silas in jail in Philippi. So then there are some ways for you to tell the story, one for the younger, one for the older. If you look in the older section, there's some bold, dark print. Those are the key points in the story that you want to make sure that you hit. And you might use it for one suggestion that they have is that after you've told the story to the children, assign them each one of these bullet points to draw a picture of. And it doesn't have to be any great artwork. It could even be your littlest kid and just let him scribble on the page and then say, oh, there's Paul and there's Silas. And there's that little girl that they helped. You can make any picture work. I showed you my poor drawing skills, and it would work. There is Paul and Silas casting the demon. That's my interpretation of the demons leaving the little girl as Paul and Silas, through God's power, cast it out. Then they had them thrown into jail, and the jailer locked them up. But what did Paul and Silas do all night? They sang songs and praises to their God, even while they were in chains. And then in the middle of the night, they felt an earthquake. Their chains fell off. They could get out of the jail, but the jailer was really worried because now he felt he was going to be in trouble for letting them loose. Anyway, I didn't draw the whole story, but use the drawings, talk about them with your kids. You can even mix them up and have the kids put them in the right order, which one came first, which one came second. You can turn them into a book, and you can then have your children tell the story to Nana or Grandma or Papa or somebody. They can tell the story and explain the pictures. The artwork doesn't matter. If the artwork is just the tool that we use to get the kids to retell the story and to make the story come to life for them. After you've gone through the story, there's some questions on the next page that you can use to tell your kids, to make sure your kids get the main point. And make sure, again, that the kids see, okay, that jailer got baptized, and then he became God's friend. When are you God's friend? When did you become God's friend? At your baptism, too. So just make sure that they get that part, that it applies to them too. It's not just a story about something that happened a long time ago. Then there is the live page. There's several different ideas on here. My favorite one is using water to re-emphasize this whole baptism thing. We're talking right now so much about washing our hands, and always wash your hands before you leave, wash your hands after you get there, wash your hands when you come home, wash your hands, wash your hands. So you could have a bowl of water for your kids and have them wash their hands. And yeah, we're doing a good job of getting everywhere on our hands to make sure we get them all clean. And if we work really long to scrub, this will help the teachers out when they have to make them wash hands at school. They'll know how to do it well. When we scrub for a long time to wash our hands and make sure they're all clean and rinse them in the water, we rinsed all the germs off and all the dirt off. But you know what? There's part of us that we can't wash. That's our hearts and our thoughts and our minds. And that's what happens in our baptism. God washed those parts. God washed us clean through the blood of Christ on the cross and his resurrection, so that makes us clean. Then now, every time this week, when you wash your hands, good, between the fingers on the back, when you wash, think about that God washed your heart when you were baptized and became his child. And now you're his child forever, and he'll love you forever. And you can never take that love away. Nothing can take God's love away. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Have a good week. Have fun learning about Paul and Silas and how they brought that new life and washing to the jailer at Philippi. Love you. Take care. Bye-bye.